From roommates back to soulmates. If you have been stuck in that roommate phase where you feel bored in your relationship, maybe you've lost that spark. Here's what we want to encourage you to do. Again, these novel experiences help us to experience that continued relationship satisfaction. And I think that part of it,
we're in that roommate phase and we think that it's because there's no love. We've lost the love. And you know what? It's actually probably not that there's no love. It's that I, a 29-year-old female, ruin every relationship by getting bored.
You always find just the perfect...
There's so many stories.
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
You're my sky, you're my blue. I've been sticking with you.
Hello and welcome to the Good Love Co podcast. My name is Paulina.
And my name is Josh. And here we believe that you were created for good love and it's worth healing and fighting for.
Which is why we create resources and begin conversations so that you can experience healthy connections. So if you're single, dating, engaged, or in early marriage, this space is just for you. And today we are talking to those of you who are in a relationship already, but if you're single, you could still listen in and take some of this stuff and keep it in your back pocket for the future.
Yes, so, absolutely.
We've been in our series.
What
so
was it?
Far,
do you remember?
From roommates back to soulmates, which you are soulmates all along, and we've gotten into that a little bit, but you are not the one that's experienced that before, right? And I feel like a lot of the times people think that because they've lost that initial spark, that it says something about their relationship altogether. So
yeah,
we're going to be getting into that today.
And we're just trying to normalize a little bit of just like, if you're in this roommate phase, it's not the end of the world. You're going to be okay. And there's ways out of it.
And you don't have to stay in it forever. So we're going to be getting into that. And then we're going to do a quick little life update. And then we will end the episode with a little...
Therapist reacts.
We're retiring Reddit reacts because eventually we're going to be reacting to other things.
We want to see our resident therapist react to lots of stuff, not just Reddit. It'll be other things sometimes.
So we're going to be getting into it. And stay tuned because it's going to be a good one. So
absolutely.
Honey, let's jump in.
Yeah, let's jump into it. So when we first started this series, roommates back to soulmates, we started with the first step called remember.
Yep.
So we're remembering where we were, remember how we used to feel, remember even just like how far we've come from where we were, and remembering all those good things.
Yep.
And then the second one was reprioritize.
Yep.
So we're reprioritizing, coming back to, okay, marriage is the most important thing outside of my relationship with God, and we need to make sure that that is upkept. So what's going to be the third step in getting out of the roommate phase?
Okay, Josh totally planned this because it's remembering.
That's my old school pastor ways.
Your pastor years coming back. Because, y'all love like a triple.
Yes.
So it's remembering.
Yep.
Number 2. Reprioritizing. And today we're talking about reigniting.
That's right.
Reigniting the flames.
Oh my goodness.
So, baby, a lot of times, again, we've talked about how at the beginning of the relationship, there are literally chemicals happening in your brain created to bond you with this person.
Yeah.
And it's actually something defined as the honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase, yes.
And I remember you and we would joke in that phase. We would be like, what honeymoon phase?
What honeymoon phase?
We're never going to get out of this phase.
Yeah, and we fought that for a long time, too.
We have. Yeah. And something that my aunt would look at us, look at each other, and she would be like, oh, this is so precious. Like, take it all in because it kind of, it ends and it goes away. And I would be like, not with us. Like, we are
the exception to... thousands of years.
More in love than anybody ever in the world has ever been.
Yeah.
And so if that's you, I love that for you. Enjoy that time. Enjoy that season. And life happens.
Yeah. And you have said this, and we said at the beginning, that there is 18 months?
Yes, it's about 18 months to 2 years.
And you're going to have that time where it is a honeymoon phase. Everything's going to be super fireworks. Everything is novel, which is amazing and beautiful, and you can fully enjoy that. But there is a time where you might find yourself slipping into a roommate phase, and it happens. And we're going to talk about how we get out of that. So,
And today, what we want to focus on is then reigniting. So you've remembered all that you've been through. You've worked on, again, reprioritizing and recognizing, man, I put you out of the order that you're supposed to be in. And so the next thing that we want to encourage you to do, if you have been stuck in that roommate phase where you feel bored in your relationship, maybe you've lost that spark, which again, we want to normalize.
yeah. And I think
And it's not, go ahead, honey.
well, I think like what you just said is like losing the spark is a big thing that people say. That is something that like we lost the spark.
The thing that's heartbreaking for me is that then people take that on as a conviction on the relationship. Like,
Mm.
that's it. It's done. It's over with. What we used to be, we will never be again.
There's
And
something wrong.
yes. And then they start looking inward, like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my partner? I start to villainize you. And then we're getting into all this conflict because, again, like, we lost something and we can't go back there. And so again, let's normalize. It happens. And it's not necessarily because anything is wrong with your relationship. Like, life is just hard.
Yeah.
You're going through different seasons together, like whether you were together or not, in your own life with your relationship with self, you go through ups and downs, right?
Yes.
So, of course, being in a relationship with another person, that's going to continue to happen,
Yep.
right? That is going through life. Life is hard. Things happen. So again, we want to normalize that. And so when and if you are feeling bored in your relationship,
Yeah, that's what the other word is, bored. Like there's a boredom that comes. So you lose the spark, and what that does that mean? I'm bored all of a
you're
sudden.
bored in your relationship, you don't have that spark. Here's what we want to encourage you to do. And there's a study that we're going to be talking out of today. So I'm going to kind of get into that study, if
Nice, I
that's
love
okay
it.
with you, and just kind of set up the scene for all of you
Beautiful.
to kind of understand this. Now, this study's a little bit old. It was done in 2000, but I think that
I think
the
there's some good
findings
principles
were
there.
still
Yeah.
relevant. And so pretty much the title of the publication that we're reading from is Couples Shared Participation in Novel and Arousing Activities and Experienced Relationship Quality. So pretty much researchers used a large scale questionnaire and they sent out this survey and they got a bunch of couples involved. What they were testing is that they compared couples who engaged in a novel experience. And what is a novel experience? It's doing something new. It's doing something out of your regular routine. It's doing something. So I'll give you a quick example that happened for us this week. Yesterday, I had a long day of seeing clients. I updated you guys that I would be seeing lots of clients, and
And
I have been.
you've been seeing quite a few, and you were tired.
So I was tired. And Josh, when I finished up, because I was seeing virtual clients, he's like, all right, put on some, like, change up real quick. Cause like when I see clients virtually, I'm like dressed up from
From the
the
waist up.
waist up.
Yeah, because you're
And
just
then
on
it's like
camera.
sweats down. And he's like, put on some jeans, let's
Yeah.
head on out. We're gonna go get some dinner. And I was like, wait, really? Okay, like we're not gonna cook something or like whip up something really quick.
Well, routine would
Or
have been to stay
even,
home. Yeah.
yeah, would have been to stay home. And you're like, no, and we're not picking something up either. We're gonna go eat it at the restaurant. We're tuning out. Like, you've finished your work week. Let's get weekend ready. And
Yeah.
I was just like so excited.
Which like in a normal routine, which again, it's okay if you are in routines. It's not a problem.
Routines are important and
Yes,
necessary.
and they're necessary. So on a normal night, we would have just, hey, we've got some food at home, or we've just,
Pick something up quick.
pick something up,
and
take
then
it
eat
home,
it
like sit
home.
on the couch, watch some TV while we eat,
Yeah.
which is like a comfortable, good thing, and that we do that, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I was like, you know what? Let's change it up a little bit. Let's do something completely different, and let's just go out. And not only that, let me find a new restaurant that we haven't been to and try something new. And so I found this Indian spot.
It was so
And it was so good.
I knew it was gonna be good because as soon as we walked in, it was only Indian people.
Oh
And
my
I was
gosh.
like, this is about to be delicious.
And it was
It was
so good.
we
Everything.
we ordered super basic, just chicken tikka masala
Yeah.
and garlic naan. But
And
it was
samosas
so
and the
good.
chicken
Oh,
no,
and
those
the
were so
chicken.
good.
And
Oh
we
my
got
God.
this like mango drink.
Whatever that mango drink
We're
was
going
is so
back.
good. Oh my
But
gosh.
there's two things there, honey, that I think stick out to me. The first thing is that because we've been prioritizing novel experiences in our own relationship,
Yeah.
my first reaction was like, no, like I want to stay home. I want to sit on the couch and I don't want to talk. Like I've
Mhm.
been talking to people
You were
all day,
tired, of
right?
course. Yeah.
But again, because this is something that we're prioritizing, I was like, no, like we're going, let's do it, right? Like I met you there.
Yes.
I met your effort
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And it ended up being such a fun, sweet experience of like doing something new with my boo.
Absolutely. And discovering a new restaurant that we're going to go back
Yeah,
to.
which touches into a point that we're going to get into
Oh, okay.
later. So put a pin on this.
Yes.
But again, back to the study, what they realized is that they had couples that participated in just a brief novel experience, which again, we were just defining what a novel experience is. That was a novel experience for us
Yes.
because it was getting out of a routine, right? And some of these activities were as short as 7 minutes.
So it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much. So it was like
Oh, wow.
moving across a room together while tied. Like together. Like
Yeah.
that, like just such a simple,
like a little challenge.
weird thing, but it
Yeah.
was like a challenge that they were doing together,
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
And they were comparing those couples that participated in a novel experience versus couples who did routine or mundane tasks. And here were the findings. Couples who shared in new and exciting activities reported significantly higher relationship satisfaction and feelings of love immediately afterwards compared to controls doing ordinary activities. And here's the thing, like that seems like such an obvious thing, but I feel like early on in a relationship, in that honeymoon phase, besides the fact that our brain chemicals are like, ooh,
Things just going wild.
everything is a novel experience.
Every single thing.
Learning about where you grew up, learning about how different it is from me, learning about
Literally.
your family and all of those things those are all novel experiences.
Literally, like how you cook, how you walk around the house. Like you like what we've talked about. We didn't live together before getting married. Watch that episode if you haven't. But it was just like every single thing was even like how you handle this situation, how we're gonna do this, that. Like every single thing is just like
In dating
nonstop.
to that early marriage stage,
Yep.
right? All of these things are brand new. I even think, and this is such a funny example, but like you would come visit in New York, right?
Yeah.
And you would always be wearing jeans. And then the first time I saw you in shorts,
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, oh my God, he has nice legs. Okay, come through
Yeah.
legs. I
Oh
didn't
my
imagine those under those. But all of that was like
Yeah.
just everything about getting to know this person,
Right.
like all their little quirks and all their little gestures and all their
Everything.
story. And so we have to recognize that years into a relationship, when you know all of the stories that this person has, or most of them, when you know everything about their history because of all the late night talks early on, right? Like
Yeah.
that's good communication.
Absolutely.
Then you need to be more intentional about these novel experiences to keep that spark going.
Got it.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it goes without saying. It's such an obvious thing that we completely neglect.
But it seems obvious, but it's one of those fundamental belief things that is so easy that we forget.
Yep.
Like it's so like, oh, of course. And then we don't even think about
And
it.
then we neglect it.
And then you neglect it. And then it's like, then you start assigning blame and start assigning things that are not true
Yeah.
because of it.
Yeah. Here's something really cool about that study. And this is just like on the abstract, like one of the results. And what it showed is that general issues of boredom and excitement in relationships and the role of such processes in understanding the typical early decline of relationship quality after the honeymoon period. Meaning, everyone has great like relationship satisfaction at the beginning, right?
Right.
In that honeymoon phase.
Hopefully.
But again, these novel experiences help us to experience that continued relationship satisfaction. And I think that part of it is also that couples who continue to prioritize those moments with one another, like it goes back to our prior episode, like I have you in a place of priority where you matter enough to me.
Yeah.
And also as an individual that I'm experiencing enough like human development and personal development that I can invite you to these new things, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. I think that that's
I think that's a great point. Like, this is actually something that's studied. This
Mhm.
is something that shows, like, one of these things that you gotta do is reignite that
Yeah.
relationship, and how do you do that? Novel experiences. So, I think you mentioned something that I really like is, like, sometimes we attribute boredom
Mhm.
that boredom is actually a lack of spark in love.
Mhm.
And is that was that correct, or did I say
Mhm.
that wrong?
Mhm. No,
So what go ahead.
I didn't hear what you said. I was reading the notes.
Okay, fair enough. So when
Say
you
that again, honey. I'm sorry.
I love it because you looked at me like, "Uh-huh, uh-huh."
Was there a lot of confidence?
So much confidence. It's the
One
same
of
confidence.
Josh's, go ahead.
It's the same confidence that every time we leave a restaurant or get out of a car or something, like, especially when we get out of a restaurant, you just start making a beeline towards a direction that you think the car is, and it's never in that direction. You open the door and you just walk out, and you're just like, boom. And I just start walking. I'm like, babe, like, the car is all the way over here, but it's the confidence.
Right. Like I don't walk out of the restaurant like, oh, is it to the right or to the
Or like
left?
you don't you
I just start
you walk
walking
out of the
with
restaurant, you just
purpose.
start walking like you know exactly where it is, and it's almost always in the wrong
And it's
direction.
almost always like, baby, it's this way. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying is that we attribute boredom and that lack of spark. Like, we kind of are bored, or we're in that roommate phase, and we think that it's because there's no love. We've
Yes.
lost the love.
a
We've lost the
hundred
spark. We've
percent.
lost all these things. And you know what? It's actually probably not that there's no love, is
Yep.
that you're not doing novel experiences.
Yeah. So again, if you're, I think I love that you highlighted that, honey. And I want to encourage anybody listening. If you are feeling that boredom in your relationship, if you are feeling that lack of spark, instead of coming and antagonizing your partner and just looking at all the wrong things about them and man, yeah, like this just he's just not the person for me. She's just not the right person for me. I want you to instead recognize that as a lack of novelty rather than a
Mm,
lack of love.
right. Like,
Let's do that instead.
there could be other things than,
Yes.
like, the worst thing. Like,
Yes.
this person doesn't love me anymore.
Exactly.
It's like you're going to
Exactly.
the most extreme thing where it's like, dang, like, just go try some new
Mhm.
things and see if maybe that'll help.
Yeah. I love that, honey. So I think the other part of that as well, when it comes to novelty, is that sometimes in relationships, and this is something that I'm noticing with Gen Z, so I'm gonna come for them right now.
Oh.
But it's like
We love you, Gen Z, by the way.
just being too cool for school, like just like,
Oh,
ooh, like, and it's like not taking risks and not
yeah.
going all in because I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's in order to protect themselves from getting hurt and because like I don't want to be rejected
Yeah.
kind of thing. But it's like if this is a person that let's take it back to like even in dating.
Yeah.
A person that you are interested in, like why are you playing around?
Mm.
Let's can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, explain that a little bit more.
Okay. So how it connects to this topic because we're talking about getting out of the roommate
Right,
phase,
right.
right?
And that we have to do novel experiences.
Right. And I think that in doing novel experiences, we don't wanna be corny or we don't wanna do too much, and
Right.
it's like,
We don't wanna be that
no,
person on
be
social
that
media.
person.
Right.
Like, do too much, especially for your person, like, do all the corny stuff.
Oh,
Make the
man.
little vouchers that say, like, redeem for a little sexy time and a hug, like, do the corny stuff.
Be corny and cheesy. And, I feel like a lot of Gen Z, though, they grew up with social media. Like, that is their thing. Like, they have been on camera and everybody's has cameras and
Yeah.
everybody's living a life on social media, that you want to play this cool character
Mm.
and you don't want to be made fun of. And you don't want to
Yes.
be that person that's like, oh, everybody's thinking about how stupid and corny I am because I'm just so in love with this person,
Mm.
that you kind of hold back. And it's like, man, like you get one time to actually be in this period, like this honeymoon phase or whatever. And why aren't you living it up and being corny
Yeah.
and going all in on it and just be cheesy? Who cares? Like at the end of the day, it's just if this is the person for you and this is the person that you've married or whatever the case is, it's you and that person versus the world. Like who cares what other people think at the end of
A
the day? If you're cheesy or
100%.
corny, when you guys are 80 years old, hopefully you're 80 years old, you're gonna think back
Yeah.
at those times and be like, man, I'm so happy that we were corny and crazy in those moments.
Yes, and that we
And
went
guess
all in.
and those other people who were commenting and everything, guess what? Where are they? They probably are not gonna be in your life anymore commenting on how dumb you guys were.
I was talking with my cousin once, and she was telling me that my grandmother on my dad's side, who my grandpa died early on. So I talk about my grandma who inspired the name of the Good Love Co.
Mhm.
Now this is my other grandma, Mama Telma. And she loved my grandfather Paulino. I'm actually named after him, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
She wore her wedding ring until the day that she died. And something that she told my cousin is like, if your boyfriend's gonna get you flowers, don't ever say, oh, it's too much. No, like take it and say
Right.
thank you so much.
Yes.
Right. And meet that.
Yeah.
So, what I mean in that and being too cool too is that then we don't reciprocate and respond to these bids that somebody's making. So, going back to the example last night where you thought to yourself, my wife's been working all day. I want to do something special for her. I want her
Mhm.
to like shift gears going into the weekend, right? I could have gone into that where again, you are trying to set something up and just rejected it and been like,
Right.
no, actually, I don't want to do that.
I was doing a bid. I was bidding.
Right?
I was giving you a bid on something and you reciprocated it.
Right. And I reciprocated that, right? Which then encourages that with for you to continue to do that as well, right? And it
Absolutely.
makes me think back to my grandma who was like, never turn down the flowers. In other words,
Exactly.
don't turn down those bids, even if maybe they're a little bit corny to you, even, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Like, be careful how you are treating that person and be mindful of those bids. It makes me think of this couple that I was seeing, and they had been they had been together for decades, and they hadn't like seen eye to eye, honey, for like over a decade, which
Oh,
is
wow.
kind of wild to think about. And she at some point mentioned, like, you don't even look at me anymore. Like, you don't look at me the way that you used to. You don't
Right.
do this the way that you used to. And
Mm.
he said, well, remember when I used to grab your waist in the kitchen and you'd always push me away because you were tired when you were doing the dishes?
Oh, wow.
And remember when? Da, da, da. And I was just like, man, like
Yeah,
how many
oh,
bids got turned down? And the bids get turned down oftentimes for valid reasons. I'm tired because I've been seeing clients all day,
I'm
right?
exhausted. I've
And
worked
I'm
all
tired.
yeah.
I'm tired because I've been with the kids all day or whatever the case in her
Yeah.
case, right? And I don't know what that's like, but being mindful of those bids that
Mm.
person is making when they're putting themselves out there. And again, going back to the point of and being cheesy and being corny for one another, like, and going all out, like,
Yeah.
why not?
Why not? Like, go all in, enjoy it. Anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing.
I love that.
And I
That's like
don't
one of
know
your
who
favorite
said
quotes.
I don't know who said that quote, but it's such a good quote. Like,
Can you say it again?
anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing.
Mm,
And the way that I like to use that quote is like, be cheesy and corny. Go all in. Who cares?
yeah.
Like, it's worth it. When it comes to marriage and that other person, it's worth investing.
Yeah.
It's worth going all in. It's worth being your goofy, silly self and letting them be their goofy, silly
Yep.
self. And like, who are you trying to impress at the end of the day? Like, just, I'm trying to impress you. I want you to enjoy. I want us to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
If other people have comments about that, let them have those comments.
Yeah.
They won't be there at the end of the day when you are in bed with this person.
Exactly. This is making me think of of a Bible verse, and I'm probably gonna use it super incorrectly,
Go
but
for it.
I'm gonna go
We'll
for it.
fix it if we have to.
In 2 Timothy chapter 1, verses 6 through 8, it says, "For this reason I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Therefore, do not be ashamed of the testimony about our Lord, nor of me, his prisoner, but share in suffering for the gospel by the power of God."
Ooh, that's good.
Now, there's a lot there.
Yes.
Obviously, like the context of it is fanning the flame of the gift of God, of sharing the gospel, right? But I think that there are other principles, right?
Yeah.
Like the Bible. And I think that sometimes we can take things out of context.
For
But
sure.
I think that there are two things there that apply to the conversation that
Yeah.
we're saying here. Is first of all, fan that flame in your partner.
Yeah.
Like that gift growing within them of them loving on you and vice versa. Like encourage that. Don't snuff it out.
Don't snuff out that flame.
fire
Yeah.
and that flame. Like feed
I
into it.
love
Honey,
that.
thank you so much for planning this.
Even if
Like,
you think it's kind of corny.
yes.
Even
And you
if
could even laugh at it
Yes.
later, but like fan that flame. Like don't shut
It's
the
like with
person
anything.
down.
Sometimes people try and they're not good at it yet.
Yeah.
Give them the opportunity to get good at like
Yes.
trying to spice things up and try new things.
Mm-hmm.
Let them practice.
And the second thing with that, honey, about fanning that flame
Yeah.
is I think like even not stuffing it out and enjoying the right now. And here's what I mean by that. I think that sometimes, I don't know if you've ever seen teenagers that are super grown, like
A little too grown.
you see this in New York all the time. I'm gonna just be real right now.
Yeah.
Where
Y'all
like
got to grow up quick there.
you do have to grow up quick, but like you see a lot of young men in New York that like from 13, 14, they talk grown, they act grown, they're smoking, they're doing this and the other. And then there comes a point of regression later on in their 20s, right? And 30s where they're still living with mom and dad. Like, what's going on? Like, there's a
Some of their interests can be
regression that
very
happens.
like teenager-esque and there's nothing wrong with enjoying some, teenager stuff, but it's like you're almost regressed back into that teenage years that you didn't get to enjoy.
Same thing happens. Like, we can see this in a bunch of different dynamics, right?
Right.
With girls who are like, act too grown, like
Yep.
are dressing a certain way and doing all these things. And then later on, right, they regress or they regret. They wish like, dang, like
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy that stage. I was rushing to get out of that stage so badly that I didn't enjoy that stage. And here's something that I think is so important. Keep the experiences, the novel experiences that apply to your season now, so that later on when you're in a different season, you don't regret what you didn't do, or you're not regressing back to a time that you can't go back to.
Right. And it's like when you like, for an example, it would be when you don't have kids and it's just the two of us, like enjoy and be in that moment, not just wishing I had kids or wishing I had this and being and living in something that you're not yet in. But like actually living in that moment. So that way when you do have kids, it's like, man, I got to enjoy that time back then.
One that comes up to mind for me is like singleness. And I got married super young. So like we got into a relationship when I was 21. We got married when I was 23. But earlier in that, I was enjoying singleness in the sense of like my paychecks, Sephora.
Yeah.
Sephora, buying what I wanted, enjoying, getting into all
Right.
these different hobbies. Because the reality is that when you are married and you have bills to pay, the financial distribution is different. I'm no longer living in mom and dad's house, right?
Yep.
But I'm so glad that I enjoyed that time in singleness.
Exactly. It reminds me of when you talk about when you were like a little girl and you would get sad thinking about like, I'm no longer a little girl anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Dramatic little
I've
Paulina
actually
just
always been very hyper aware of seasons because my
right,
mom made me aware of them. Like my
which is
mom
a
would let
good
me know,
thing.
you're a child now, enjoy being a child. Like you
Don't
never get
act
to be a
grown.
child
Don't
again.
act too grown right
And
now.
I actively remember like thinking to myself as a child, I'm never going to be a child again. Let me take this in right
Oh,
now,
that's so
kind of
sweet.
thing.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing when I was a teenager. And I'm so glad. Same thing. And now in our season,
Yep.
as being in marriage with no kids yet, we're enjoying that. We are enjoying what it is to pick up and go out to dinner
Do those
and
things. Yes.
and locking up the house and going on a quick weekend trip. And I know that when we have kids, we'll look back at it and it'll be so sweet. But then the season kind of runs out, right? Like there
Hmm.
comes a point where living at mom and dad's house no longer fits. It's
Yeah.
time for you to be the woman of your own home, and now there's like this conflict coming up because you're overstaying your welcome in that season. You know
Interesting.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think where you're at right now, that season, enjoy it. Another one to the engaged couples, to the dating couples. I'm gonna keep it so real right now.
Go for it.
It's so hard right now, right? To wait, to not have sex. Enjoy that. Enjoy the pull, the ooh, I wish I could have you and I can't right now. Like
Oh man, the tension.
enjoy the
So much
tension.
sexual tension.
Right? And it's funny, but it's true. Like
It's true.
each season has these beautiful things and you're trying to rush so
Fully
badly out of
enjoy it.
it. But there's actually something so precious. And so I really want to encourage everybody that's tuned in right now, whether you're single or you're married, like what are those novel experiences that God is calling you into right now? Romanticize it, live
Enjoy
it,
it.
enjoy
Be
in
in the
it.
moment in the season that you're in.
Yes, stop rushing out of it. And if you're feeling bored, you're feeling like, man, what happened to our spark? What does that say about us? You're not alone. Like this happens to most, if not all couples
Yes.
for an array of reasons. And you can go back to
And
experiencing
maybe
those
not,
things.
and don't assume that it's the worst of the worst things.
Yes.
Assume maybe, hey, maybe we need some more novel experiences. And there's
I love
plenty
that.
of things that we can do. And one of the things that we have given examples of that on our social media is ABC dating. Just a super practical, easy way. Go through the alphabet, ABCs, and each week or whenever you have that date night, pick a letter of the alphabet and do it, or
Yeah.
go and ideally go in order so that it kind of challenges you to you have to figure out something for like the letter D or the letter Q or whatever, right? Try to come up with new things and try not to select something that you would normally do. Like for example, like if E is eat out, don't just eat out, like find another E activity.
Yes.
Elephant watching. Like I don't know, go to
Is
the
that what
zoo.
we're doing for E?
No, we're not doing that. But it's just
We're doing dancing classes for D,
yeah,
which we've never done
we've
before.
never done.
So instead of doing like dinner, we're doing dancing classes,
But it's
which I
just
think
a
is so
very
exciting.
practical thing. Like you can find these little things that you can do. ABC dating has been great for us because we're doing things that we've never done, and it
Yeah.
just kind of snaps you out of that routine because then you also are working together to challenge of like try to find something that you can do together.
Yeah. And what I love about this is that it's a culture that you're setting up in your home
Yep.
and an expectation that you are setting up in your relationship, right? So we hope that this
Beautiful.
encourages you. Go back. Like what were the things you're trying to think of, like, man, why did we lose that spark? Like remember that at the beginning of the relationship, everything is novel, everything is new. So your brain is like,
Yes.
but you can still experience those things with your person.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to then look back again at all that you've like done together.
Absolutely.
So
Find those new things to do together and you'll see the spark start coming back.
yeah. So
I love that.
with that said, we're going to jump into some life updates.
Some life updates.
And then we're going to get into therapist reacts, which is a therapist reacting to a Reddit reacts. So stay tuned for
Yes.
that.
Yes, and if you've already made it this far, you might as well just like and share.
Yes, please
Like it,
do.
subscribe, just hit the buttons. That's the best way that you can support this channel is to like, share, subscribe, whatever the case might be. That does miracles for us.
We're at a little over 400 subscribers, so welcome.
Little
We're
by
so
little, just
glad
keep
that you're
adding it.
here.
We literally, so last week we said, hey, if you are new and we don't know who you are, like put it in the comments and
Yes.
say who you are. We literally have somebody who wrote from Australia.
Adora or Idora or I think it's
I don't know,
Idora
but you're awesome. We love
from
you.
Sydney. Thank you so much for your comment. It
The
was so
sweetest comment.
heartwarming.
You're so amazing.
I honestly am probably gonna, I think I want to start like a bulletin board like situation. I saw a DIY on,
Maybe a scrapbook.
and I want to start like pinning some
Oh,
of
okay,
these
okay.
really sweet, encouraging messages. But it's
Oh,
so cool because she's also she studied psychology. And
yes.
so she is appreciating kind of that integration
The
that we have.
Bible and psychology and
Yeah.
studies kind of being integrated.
Yeah. So we're so
That's
glad
so
that you
cool.
found our channel and our little corner of the internet.
Yeah, and if you are somebody else who is new and and we don't know who you are, please write it in there. We want to reach out.
Seriously.
We want to talk. We want to get to know you.
Yeah.
That matters to us because there are people who are actually watching us that we don't know, and it's like let's build this community together.
Yes,
It's
we're
super
glad that you're
exciting.
here. So with that, honey, what's going on with you? What have you been up to?
So you had your birthday,
I had
and so we last episode, it's like birthdays. Oh, like what's the theme?
he killed it. He killed it.
I think
Okay.
I did pretty good.
So I want to disclose the fact that early on in our relationship, I think we talked about this a little bit.
No, we didn't.
Oh my, so I celebrate big birthdays.
Yeah, and
He
I
doesn't
don't.
as
I
much.
didn't as much.
But then he would feel the pressure. So if you didn't see that in the prior
Yeah,
episode
you
where
could
I'm
see
like,
that there was pressure.
oh, he totally has surprises planned.
Yes.
Like watching that back when you literally like were like, uh-oh.
I know.
It's
And
so
and to
funny.
be fair, it's no longer like that pressure. And you've never really we just come different cultures when it comes to how we celebrated birthdays in our families. And that's totally cool. But you know what? I think I did a good job.
He did such a great job. So once a
Yes.
week,
Give a
and it
clap for your
happened to
man
be
over here.
on my actual birthday. I work out of a town called McKinney here in Texas,
Which is a long way from where we live.
which is a long way. It's about an hour and a half drive.
Yes.
So in order to make that day super special, you drove me to work,
I drove with you to
got me
McKinney.
Starbucks, which was
And-
so nice.
And I worked from a coffee shop while I dropped you off at work.
And then one of my sweet sisters, Sopa, surprised
Yes.
me for lunch. That was so funny.
Yeah, she was hiding in the back seat, so I came to pick you up. She was hiding in the back seat, and then she surprised you, which you literally screamed, which was great. So
I really thought there was a burglar.
you literally thought like somebody was in the back ready to like do that little Italian assassin thing where they put the thing around your neck.
And if you're a girly whirly, you know that when you're driving by yourself and you get into the car real quick and you like lock the doors and you always look at the back seat. But I don't do that when I'm in the car with you. So it was
something
truly
moved
shocking.
and she surprised you. We went and had lunch.
And
then you went back to work.
I went back to work, finished up. When I finished, we explored this town. And it is the cutest town ever.
It's so nice.
They have little doors like
Fairy
on random parts of the street. And they are fairy homes, like fairy doors. And they're all different
it's
themes.
so cute.
And I was
And
just
all
like,
the shops, all owned by mom and pop type shops,
oh my
little
gosh.
businesses that are so cool and unique, and everybody, it's like a
Yes.
good community there. It's just a lot of character.
In another life, if we didn't have amazing community this close, I would totally live in McKinney. It
It's
is
so nice.
so cute.
Maybe
I
just
loved
convince everybody to move out there.
it. Just start a little commune out in McKinney. That would
But
be
then
amazing.
I also had a gift basket for you that was all on
He
theme. I
made me the cutest gift basket with a personalized card that is hilarious. And
Yes.
he had me cracking up, and that was really sweet.
Yeah, and we had a great time just hanging out, exploring, eating, just had a great time. So
Then on the weekend, I did indeed go to a seafood boil.
you sure did with all the girls.
With my girls, and that was so delicious and so fun.
And
then on
the
Sunday,
party continued.
we celebrated with your family, and my sister-in-law Sarah made me a Good Love Co theme.
We'll have to show it in the video. Yes.
Inserting right here.
Yes.
Is that not the most
It's so nice.
beautiful cake
Yes.
ever? And it was delicious.
Yeah, and we had a great time hanging out with the family.
Oh
We
my
played
gosh.
games.
Yeah.
We ate. It was just a great time. It was a
It
great
was
celebration.
a great birthday
And
week.
it continued the next day because we
And
hung out with some of our best friends, Calvin and Pam.
oh, so then Sunday, Monday, like this
Yes.
week.
Which we kind of had off, which was nice. And then you were able to
It
just
didn't finish. Some
yes.
of our best friends took us to such a cool spot. Got us
in
dinner. It was
Dallas.
like one of their favorite spots. It is now one of our favorite spots.
So
It
cool.
was such a vibey place. Great. We got dressed up. It was just
Yes.
such a fun day. So I'm so thankful. I had an amazing birthday
Yeah,
week.
and we had a great time.
And we head off to Rosemary Beach next week, which I'm
Yes.
so excited about. That's going to be so fun.
A little vacation coming up.
So, anywho, that's what we've been up to.
Yeah, not too much.
Also, a cutie little thing that we've been doing is we got this book at the beginning of our marriage called One Line a Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we've started writing in it a little bit more, not like every day, but most nights we've been getting into it. And that's been so sweet because we read some of the entries early on in our marriage and it was so
it's like
cute.
basically like 3 lines that you have to write what you did that day so that you just and then it has like 5 years on one page.
Yeah.
So you can go back and see on that same day what happened. And it's just really cool.
Yeah.
Little routine because we're not doing screens in the bedroom anymore.
Yes, we're
That's
still
another
docking
big thing.
our phones. So
we're leaving the phones outside of the
Yeah.
bedroom and we're actually just like so we have to write things, read. It's been really good. So we're gonna get to the next segment of Reddit Reacts, which is Therapist React now, which your famous world famous intro song
yeah.
is gonna have to change. It's not gonna be Reddit React anymore. It's gonna be Therapist React. Are you okay with that?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll make it through. We'll make it through. But just before
Well, I think we should retire Reddit Reacts.
the Reddit React, so we can
One
say it. Maybe
one
sing
time
it
for the
sad.
last time.
Maybe sing it, but like sing it a little bit sad.
And if you know it, sing it with me. Reddit React, Reddit React,
Reddit React, Reddit
Reacts.
We'll say bye to you, Reddit React. Now we're gonna
She
go
was a
to
good one.
Therapist
That was a
React.
good jingle.
But today we're gonna be the therapist is gonna be reacting to marriage Reddit stories.
Wait, I'm sorry. One moment for the nails. A moment for the
We're
nails.
gonna have to show a picture because I don't know if they can see
did
it.
them myself.
Maybe if you show it to that camera, like kind of put
I
it
did
out.
them myself. Girlies.
Yeah, it's
One
summer.
moment, the blueberries, please.
No, you're so good at that. I don't know how you do it
Okay.
because it's like so intricate and nice.
It takes me 5 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful though.
Thank you.
So, okay, just before we move forward, so just a quick disclaimer, and it'll be in the description as well. But this therapist reacts, it's not, you wouldn't do this in an office. You wouldn't do this while in session. This is strictly for entertainment purposes
Yes.
on the channel. We're having fun. Therapists have emotions and can have some fun too. And just really quick, you can tell them this is not therapy, right?
Correct.
Fair enough. Easy. Usually you say like, it's like not a
This
therapist
doesn't-
relationship. Please don't take this as therapy. This is just
Right.
This is just
This is
for good
just for
times.
entertainment purposes.
Okay, so the way that this works is that I go into Reddit. I am subscribed to like a whole bunch of like relationships and marriage Reddits, marriage advice, all these types of things. And what I'm looking for are just crazy stories that you can kind of react to. And maybe people can get some value out of that. But it's also just to see where people are and what happens in relationships. And today I have a good one.
Ooh.
And it goes in line with the episode that we just recorded. And it
Wow.
is, are you ready for this?
Let's jump in.
Let's jump into it. Okay. I, a 29-year-old female, ruin every relationship by getting bored.
You always find just the perfect.
There's so many stories.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Guys, I need you to understand we write these episodes and then he finds the perfect. Okay,
Yes.
continue.
I try to find it that's in line. So if you're watching this Reddit React by itself, because these are also going to be actual videos, watch the whole episode and you get even more about the topic. So anyway, I know I sound like a terrible person, but I always find myself in this position and hate it. I start dating someone and fall hard. Then, without fail, I get bored and unhappy. It's hard to express this to the other person. So I bottle it in and start to resent them, even going as far as looking outside the relationship for something. Parentheses, no, this has never resulted in anything. After a while, I do end up leaving completely out of nowhere and cut everything off. I recognize this pattern and know when it's happening. The biggest time was with my marriage. Within 1 week, I ended things and moved out. This happens every single time I'm with someone. Am I just with the wrong person? Is it me and something I can't change? What is your reaction to that?
Okay.
There's a lot here.
There's so much because you say that you get bored in every relationship. I'm curious how many relationships, because she's like insinuating that it's been
Several.
multiple people, right?
Right.
So that kind of gets into an episode that we talked about where you can have the same relationship with 100 different people. Like if it's still you. What that sounds like to me is an avoidant attachment style. For whatever
Interesting.
reason, you have these walls up. And so there's like this self-sabotage happening, because if it's happening in every single relationship,
Yeah, there's
like
something's up. And she even
something's up.
says like
And it seems to me like she has the self-awareness to know that.
well, and it's interesting that she'll say it's hard to express to the other person
Yeah.
and that she bottles it all in and
Yeah.
then resents the other person.
Right.
So if that's the case, what are you grabbing?
Just grabbing a resource to talk about avoidant attachment style.
You literally have the resource right here?
I sure do.
Oh, wow. Put our little couple back up very gently. The little Dominican couple. I just love how, like, you're just slowly grabbing it.
You know
Okay.
me and my books.
But it's just interesting how she says, like, it's hard to express. I bottle it all in and I start to resent them. And even looking outside, which something that we didn't talk about in the episode,
Mm-hmm.
talking about like the novel experiences, is that you can try to find those novel experiences outside of your relationship.
Yes.
And so you might, and especially at the workplace, right? You find this other person and then you guys start connecting.
Yep.
And guess what? You find that spark in what you think is love. And because everything is novel. So all those things, same things start happening.
Yep.
But guess what? That novel experience with that person will eventually run out too.
Yeah.
And now you've damaged all these relationships. You've got all this baggage and all this hurt. And instead of trying to build that novel relationship with somebody new,
Yeah.
build it with that person that you have already.
Yeah.
And if you, for example, are super resentful and starting to bottle all this stuff in, I mean, I feel like you got to start learning how to talk about these things, because if not, like, you're going to just keep doing this whole cycle because, like, what you're talking about, the attachment style.
Yeah. So if she is an avoidant, and that's just her attachment style, then I just want to give a little bit of
Mhm.
context to what it would have been like for her. And I'm reading out of How We Love: Discover Your Love Style, Enhance Your Marriage by Milan and Kay Yurkovich. And this is a great book for like
Mhm.
beginners learning about attachment styles and things like that. But here's what it would have been like for an avoider growing up. They have feelings. Those needs that they have, which are normal, are overwhelming to the parent, or the parent shows disinterest. So the child is stifled and or limited by the parent. The parental response is that the parent encourages limited expression of emotions and does not comfort.
Hmm.
Calm down, stop. Like, why are you being like that? Even
Right.
though it's just a regular child's needs. So the reaction is that the child restricts emotions and needs and becomes independent, right?
Mm.
And then they become this avoider that avoids emotions and needs of self and others, right?
Okay.
So you're telling me this person always gets bored. I'm just over it. Every single person. To me, what that sounds like is that there are these walls that are up because you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of getting hurt. So it's easier for you to be on this island where you are independent,
Yeah.
where you're like, again, I'm good. Like, what's going on over there
Right.
with
Right.
you? Right. But that just isn't like, unless, like, is it really possible that you're just connecting with all the boring people ever.
Yeah, then
That's just unlikely.
exactly, and that's the first comment is
Yeah.
that the one this is from Lordisa. The one consistent element in all of this is you. What are you looking for in others that they can't fulfill? It's likely something missing in yourself.
Yeah.
It's like if it's every single time with every single
Yeah.
person, it's probably not everybody else.
Yeah. And I wish that we had more information about her. Like, for instance, I'm curious, like, how many relationships? At what point does it get boring?
Mm,
Because I was surprised that it wasn't just like boyfriends, but that she actually got married to
I
somebody.
know.
Like, how long did it take for you guys to get engaged and then married? Like, was it just like shotgun, like really exciting
Sure.
and really fun? And then to get bored within a week? Like, just putting away furniture at that point is still exciting and novel, so
Well, and somebody said, or ADHD. It's common. Things for ADHD brains. And watch the you like talked about like YouTube resources to help that ADHD and relationships. And it's like, I don't know if this is just ADHD.
no, that isn't
Yeah,
just ADHD. There are plenty of people that have ADHD
that's not happening.
and
Yeah,
are super committed and wonderful
exactly. So it's
partners.
deeper than that.
Yeah.
Somebody said, is it possible you are expecting your relationship to fulfill all your entertainment needs? You need to find a life and a hobbies outside of the relationship to make your life exciting.
Which is true. That's something that you and I have spoken about is that your partner can't be your source. They can't be your fulfillment for everything that gives you life purpose and meaning and excitement and fulfills every desire. That is impossible for any single
Right.
human to complete for you. So,
Well, and somebody said this might be a good time to look into therapy. Having a professional to talk to might help you figure out what you're looking for and what you're not finding and ways to keep your engaged
yes.
and in a relationship. So, I mean, that is actually at that point it seems like it probably would be a good
Yeah,
option.
it would
And
be.
talking to a therapist, I think that you would agree.
I totally agree. At this point,
Yeah.
again, if you are having relationship like issues that are coming up in every relationship. So if that's you and you're seeing a cycle that's repeated with a
Yeah.
bunch of different people, it's probably you. Come on in, come into like the safety of a therapeutic relationship. And I think it could be a blessing.
I think that's good. And I think that's a good perspective to have. It is something that a lot of people go through.
And I think even going through, because hearing from her, right? It's like, are you kidding me? Like everyone's boring to you. But thinking through what that child would have been like, you're
Yeah.
too much, calm down. So they learn to internalize everything and to keep their heart so locked away and their real actual needs locked away out
Mm,
of fear of those needs not being met,
right.
that then nobody can actually get in
Yeah.
enough to where there is that vulnerability and connection and beauty.
Yeah.
And so no wonder you're getting bored so
And
quickly.
that's where the therapy side of you will definitely look at, you know? It's like you're literally looking behind the scenes. What was the child like? Because nobody's just gonna act that way just because,
No,
right? And so you're giving them the benefit of
in
the
most
doubt.
cases.
And I think a lot of people can look at that and be like, "Man, what's wrong with you? Like, just figure it out." And it's like, no, sometimes you need to go a little bit deeper
Yeah.
and uncover that, and that's okay.
And I will say, unfortunately, while our trauma can explain our behavior, it doesn't excuse it. So I want for you to experience good love and healthy
Exactly,
connection. So
exactly.
don't stay there.
It
Like,
seems like she wants to be in a
yeah,
relationship and
yeah.
she wants to enjoy that and she realizes that there's an issue. So
Hmm.
in that situation, look for some therapy. You
Yeah.
know, get some therapy. And maybe you're watching this and you need some therapy. Like go for it. Like if it's in your means to be able to do it, definitely go do it.
And if it's not, tune into this podcast
Hopefully
where
our
we'll be
podcast can
learning
help a little
about
bit.
these kinds of dynamics. But
Yeah.
anyway, that was so much fun.
Yes.
Thank
That was so
you
much good.
for tuning into another episode of the Good Love Co. And we'll see you in the next one.
Well, you can't forget to
Don't forget to
you don't have to
like,
sing it. It's okay.
please leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. What was your favorite part of this episode?
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, it's honestly, we love doing this. So listening to your comments and just reading those means a lot. If you've made it this far, subscribe. You know, we want you to be a part of this journey with us. So we definitely love it and we love you guys and thank you for watching.
See you next week.
We'll see you. Bye.
You're my sky, you're